Hello and welcome. I am Scrapperlock, and this is Satisfactory Early Access Update 3. We're back at our old base. This is the furthest extent of it, where we had some limestone, and we've been piping that back to our main base, and I've been doing some work back here. As hopefully you can see, it's nighttime now, unfortunately, but I've created the archways all along here. Didn't have enough resources when I came back here to completely finish it. I actually did not come back here for the purpose of building. What turned out is I had screwed something up, gosh, way back in here somewhere. This line coming in is 120, right? But somewhere up here, and let me make sure that I've got the Mark IIs. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. Right. So somewhere along here, I think where this wall was, I had accidentally, and I did it here too, I accidentally had conveyor belt Mark Is, and it was slowing down the transmission of stuff, so I wasn't actually getting the full 120 a minute. So that was slowing down the creation of steel. And, I mean, we don't have enough steel to run all of those foundries, but, well, enough metal to run all those foundries, but we were getting half as much as we were supposed to. And one of the lines looked like it was going at full speed, but the other one clearly wasn't. And, so I drove all the way back here to try to trace that and make sure that everything was going correctly. Another thing that I did is I completely filled in, as I showed you back there, the limestone bridge that I made a long time ago and never finished. So this is the limestone bridge. I put a top on it. Oh no, this is the metal bridge. The limestone bridge is over here, and I finally actually closed it in, and you can see that through here. I don't have the columns built, again, because I ran out of metal. Again, I didn't come back here to do the building. I came back here to sort out why the iron was coming in without using full density, right? You could see that as it was going through here that the lines were not packed in, right? It should be every single pixel of that conveyor belt is covered in ore, and instead it was like half of it. And so that's usually a sign that you're bringing stuff in faster than you're taking it out, and there was a logjam somewhere. And so I came back here to trace that out, and what I found was that I accidentally used a regular conveyor belt instead of a Mark II. I've also changed my hotbars, as you can see, so this second hotbar is all logistics, except it doesn't include the splitters and mergers. It's not going to be able to stay this way because we're going to have more than 3 levels of belts, but so eventually I'm probably going to just have a belt hotbar and just a lift hotbar and so on. But you can see these guys are still stopping. And again, this one is only moving at half speed. So if you look at this, you see how it's, when it comes in here, it's not coming at 120. And these guys are jerking to a stop. So I've got to figure out why we're not getting the full... Here, see? For some reason, and I got to make sure that this thing is also a Mark II. That is a Mark II. So you can tell when you hold the thing over, it tells what you're going to dismantle. So we were not getting, and I like going into the car because you can see that now, if you look at the difference, right? Here, everything is full up. If you go further down, there's a gap, right? So now the question is, why are these guys jerking to a stop? Because it should be flowing pretty much continuously. The way it's supposed to look is the way this one is going. You see how it's moving? It's fully connected. Every single piece of limestone is butting against the next one in line, and it's moving continuously. There shouldn't be any stopping because we aren't full down at the other end. But this one is stopping, it looks like. So it's hard to do that. It's hard to drive this thing. No, no, no. It's hard to drive this thing and kind of look behind you. What I'm trying to see is... Yeah, see, it's still jerking to a stop here. So somewhere up the line, I've got a Mark 1 belt. And it's slowing things down. And it comes in at speed 2, stops at speed 1, and then goes back out at speed 2. So what you have to do is try to find the place where the jerking ends. And I'm not sure where that is. And that's why I went all the way back in this truck. I didn't bring supplies with me because I was trying to find out where the stop, where the point was where the lower density was happening. And it was all the way back at the other base, right? So I ended up going all the way back there. But somewhere here, it should speed up on the top one, right? They should all be going at the speed of this limestone. There's no reason for it to be going at half density or jerking to a stop at this point. So somewhere, and I don't know where, and I caught this like half movement underneath the base all the way at the end of the line, and I followed it all the way up, right? The one on the lower belt. So now I got to figure out what's going on with the upper belt so that we can get our steel production to speed up. I mean, if both of these are moving at half speed, we're only producing half as much as we're supposed to, right? Without even upgrading anything, we can increase our production because the coal is moving at the right speed, as far as I know. I got to check that too. So this is one of the things, you know, it takes some time, but it's worth doing because eventually you can get a lot more production out of it. Alright, so all the way to here, it's still jerking to a stop, so I'm not sure where the holdup is. So at some point, we're going to find a spot where it's not jerking to a stop. Now the bottom one on the left, that's dead stop. That's because we're full on Katir and we have like 12 storage containers of quick wire. We don't need to make any more right now. Yep, it's still jerking to a stop. So what's going on here? Because there's no way we're anywhere near full up on steel. And it's not even close. Still jerking to a stop. So as you can see, mostly what I haven't done here is I haven't filled in the... Obviously I haven't put the pillars on, but I also haven't filled in the ceiling. And it's actually a good thing I haven't, because with the ceiling on, I don't know if I would have noticed this on the top one. But looking at it from above, you can see, so somewhere all the way back here at the base, we have a jam up. We have a log jam. I gotta figure out where that is, because these guys should be coming in at full speed, right? Like these guys. Now that one's also jerking to a stop. So I gotta figure out why that is too. Alright, so let's come down here. So this is a Mark II conveyor belt. So we're going to come in here. That's Mark II, that's Mark II. So what you do is, so if you are going to change it, it will light up and allow you to change it. So we're going to set it on the Mark II belt and just run along here and see if I can figure this out. Let me put up... One little trick I like to do is climb up this thing and then just take a look. Yep, it's still stopping. Alright. So back to going along the way. I mean, really, this is the only way I know of to check it quickly, is to see if it will let you upgrade something. So I must have maybe a lift that's a Mark I lift. You know, sometimes I put these things in as placeholders just for the design, and then I forget to upgrade them when I connect everything. But it doesn't look like... It does not look like any of this is Mark 1, as far as I can tell. So are we still jerking here? Yep. I guess I don't need... Oh, I better be careful with dismantling here. I don't want to dismantle anything but the conveyor poles. I guess I don't need... What was I going to say? I don't know. I was going to say, I guess I didn't need something, and I'm not sure what it was. So these are all Mark II. And that is Mark II, and that is Mark II. So why is it jerking along? That's the one. Alright. It's stopping there. So somewhere along here, I've still got a Mark I belt. It's still jerking along. So this is what happens, and there's like one little piece, like right in here, that'll be a Mark I, and everything else is Mark II, and it's really hard to track it down. Are we still jerking along here? Yes. Both of them are stopping now. So what's going on? So something up the line is keeping them slow. Now if you look at the coal, well, the coal's kind of jerking in too. There, no. Alright. And we just did an autosave. So let's come over here. So I'm going to have to track this down. Try to see what's going on. These are also Mark IIs. So if we come out here... Is it just the speed with which... Wow. So it doesn't look like it's actually stopping, so I don't know. I will pause this for a moment and I will be right back. Got it, guys, right here. And so you can see the difference. It's stopping there, and then it's flowing there. That's the screw up. So it was backed up all the way back to the base, to the other base, because of that little section. And now it'll come in at full speed. And the reason the coal was jerking is because the coal is full in the foundries, because the metal is not coming in fast enough, the iron, right? And so now, once we've actually got this going, because then I was looking at these lifts and they weren't coming in at full speed either, compared to the coal lifts. And I'm like, what is going on here? Why is it not coming in at full speed? Now it should start coming in at full speed, right? And you can see it's now moving up at the faster speed, right? It was like going every other one of these instead of each one. And so now we're coming in at full speed, and we should be starting to actually see. Right now what's happening is the coal is waiting for the iron, right? But now it should start building up. You see it's up to 6, and then it's going to keep going, right? So it should start building up to the point where it can go almost continuously, right? And it's going to take it a little while to equilibrate, right? But I was looking up here, and like, why is this not coming in at this one up at the top, not coming in at full density? We know why this one's not, right? So what's happened is, because none of this was coming in at full density, this thing never filled up, right? Which, unlike with the coal, right, if you come to the coal at the beginning, right, where the coal is coming out, this thing filled up, right? And then that forced all the coal to get shunted down this way, and then this one filled up and so forth. So the coal is doing great, but the iron never filled up in this first one, so it never backed up, right? This feed has never backed up, and because it never backed up, this feed was only moving at half speed. So this was coming in at 60 and going 30 to here and 30 to here, and this was only getting 15 and 15, so that was making it very slow. But now what you're seeing is it's starting to fill up. So eventually this will back up, and then this will send nearly everything down this line, and then this one will back up, and so forth. So it's going to take us a while, but this should dramatically speed up the iron ingot production, which was going along way too slowly. And now what you're going to see is each of these guys is going to start producing a lot more ingots, right? They should be producing 3/4, right? 45 a minute coming out on something that does 60, so you should see 3 and a gap, 3 and a gap. And you should see that everywhere. And we weren't actually seeing that before, but we're starting to see it a little bit more like that now. Now you're seeing there's still big gaps here because this one's down at the end of the line and it's not getting all of the iron yet, right? The iron is still, you know, sort of slow coming into this guy. But eventually it's going to back up, and you can see that here. It's going to start backing up right away, and this is going to make everything go much faster. So this should really double the pace at which we're able to make steel, which is a good thing. So let's see, a couple things I wanted to show you guys. Where's the stairway? I still need to move that. So let's head upstairs, because I am now making the new pieces. And then I want to talk about color and painting. Wow, and I never have hooked up that limestone, which we got to do soon too. So we got to still keep going upstairs. Alright, so we're now at the top of the base. And I have filled in a bunch of this. I'm going to fill in some more as we go. I need to change to the foundations thing. Here we go. I always do at least a little bit. So over here we have our steel beams coming in, and we've got 2 constructors going, making these versatile frames, right? Is that what they're called? Versatile frameworks. This is full, right? So these guys are done. I'm going to let them keep producing. They're going to fill up, and once they're full, this whole thing will stop, right? And at that point, then the steel beams will start backing up, and I'll just let them back up naturally rather than shutting this all down. And then we'll start actually getting steel beams built up downstairs, which means we can start making the Type 3 conveyor belts. Meanwhile, we've already backed up our pipes, which is great. So that means that pipes are still filling up in our buffer downstairs. These pipes are coming over here, and I've really not decided how I want to do the assembler floor, because I'm not sure how much I'm going to need to make of things right now in terms of whatever the next steps are. Because this is about as far as I've ever gotten in the game. Making the encased steel beams and the Mark III belts and Mark II miners, that's pretty much as far as I've ever gotten. And so I'm not sure, like with the constructors, with the smelters, I was pretty sure how I wanted to lay things out. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the assemblers and then the manufacturers and stuff, which is going to be on the next floor above us. So I got to kind of see what I need to make, and then I'll figure out how to lay this out. But what we've got is I've completely filled out all of the copper, right? It's, man, you can just see it's all backed up, even though we've got 12 copper constructors going, and they are sending the wire into this assembler, which is making stators. And you need them to make motors and stuff, but you also need them to make this advanced wiring, which we might already have enough of. So we now have enough to shoot everything up the space elevator, guys. I think we're going to do that. And so now, since the stators are backed up, we're going to start seeing them build up in the buffer here. And that's why I like to have buffers all along the line, because then that'll be built up, and then when we need stators for something else, we can just feed them right out of here, and we'll get tons of them. Right, now this thing is still going. It's going to be going for a while because we've got to fill this up. But we need 100 of these, and 500 of the versatile frames and so forth. And we're ready to send stuff up the space elevator, guys. I wasn't even planning to do that, but yeah, it's done. So let's see. I'm going to need to remove. We need to get rid of some of this stuff. So let's go ahead and fill in our floor here. And I thought the smelting floor was done, but it actually turns out there's a whole bunch of space underneath there that I still have not done on the smelting floor. So one of my projects has got to be to seal in all these floors. It's so dark at night, I think if I ever... the next time I do a Let's Play of this game, or even just play it by myself, I'm going for an open air factory. And I'm just going to spread it out horizontally instead of vertically, so that you can at least see everything. So now what I'm doing here is just spending time filling this in just to clear out my inventory so I have enough room to carry stuff up to the space elevator. And then we can launch it, and it'll give us the ability to do tiers 5 and 6. And one of the things I want to get right away is, I think it's in tier 5, is exploration, which will allow us to get the Explorer vehicle, but most importantly, it will allow us to research the map so we can really see the world and where we want to go and where all of our beacons are, and then we're going to use our Explorer and do a lot more exploring. I also need to finish the actual construction of this base, at least on the lower floors, and get all of the supports done. Again, you don't have to do that, but for cosmetic purposes, I like to. So I don't know, we have a bunch of the reinforced plates. I don't think we're going to have room to carry everything up in one go, but we're really pretty close to the space elevator, so running up there a little bit is not a big deal. But I want to clear my inventory as much as possible. This isn't the most efficient way to build, but my goal here is just to clear out my inventory, which we pretty much have done. I've got this portable miner, and I was going to use it to add more metal, and then when I saw the metal was all backed up, I said, no, let's clear this out. So let me put down, if I can, a storage box, and we're going to store all of our generic supplies in there so that we have room, and we don't need iron ingots. And I can store in the portable miner as well. So now we have room. And I believe we need 500 each of these other 2 items. And then we're going to go up, and we are going to set up our space elevator. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then over here. So this is going to keep running for a while. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's right. 10. Yep. I think that's everything we need, guys. Let's head up to the space elevator. I'm going to save it here just in case. I feel like making it do stuff like changing the tech levels could possibly cause a crash. I doubt it, but you never know, so always want to try to save things. And we're so high up now that all we got to do is run over this sky bridge just a little bit. To the ramp that is eventually going to go away because we're going to put another floor up here and everything. One of the benefits of building insanely large structures like what I've done, that you totally unnecessary roofs over things and stuff, is it takes a long time, and while you're doing that, it gives your factory time to build stuff, which is pretty cool. Here we go. 500. If you hit control, click 500, 100. It's ready. Seal. And send. This is so awesome. I would love to be able to see a space elevator actually work in real life. I don't know if I'd be brave enough to go up on one, but I'd love to watch it work. So now what it's going to need is 2,500 versatile frames, And then it's going to need modular engines and adaptive control units, which of course we don't have yet. So let's run downstairs and we'll see just exactly what we're going to need to build those things, or what we're going to need actually for the next level of tech. So my guess is I could probably stop the production of the smart plates unless the smart plates are going to be part of the construction of those other parts. So if we look here, milestones, we can go to tier 5 now. Oil processing is available, right? But to do that, we're going to need to make, and it will allow us to make plastics, rubber, but we're going to need motors, we're going to need encased industrial beams, and these other things we can make no problem. So if that's the case, then we've really got to get these encased industrial beams and the motors going. Motors take stators and rotors. We're making tons of stators and rotors. So we should be able to do that almost right now as soon as we might actually be able to do that right now. Industrial manufacturing, that's what lets us make the modular engine and the adaptive control unit, as well as computers, trucks, and a manufacturer which takes, I think, 4 feeds. Alternative fluid transport, so this is transporting liquid biofuel and stuff, I guess. And making a gas mask, and we need to make fabric for that, and fabric takes leaves and mycelium. So we're going to have to eventually start making those, and rubber, and then tier 6. Where's the exploration? So this is weird. I thought there was exploration in tier 5. Huh. Monorail train technology, jetpack, expanded infrastructure. And that gives us Mark IV conveyor belts, which carry 480. But where's the exploration? That's really weird. Where are maps? I don't know. I'm going to have to look that up. Okay, the other thing that we were working on... Oh my gosh, I can't remember where the color gun is. All right, so let me go look for that, guys. I don't remember where I put it. And then we will talk about colors and painting the base. Alright guys, I don't know what I did with the paint gun, but I found the paint. So that's all we need, and I'll just go ahead and make another gun, no problem. And so, one of the nice things about the way they've done this is that you can individually paint things. So let's load a color cartridge. You can individually paint things, right? Whatever color you want. Right? Now people said purple. 2 people said purple. I hate the color purple, so we're not doing that. But one of the other things you can do is you can actually change this color. And when you change that color, it will change everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to... Yeah, so basically what's this color, whatever this color is, I keep forgetting to select, whatever that color is what the whole base will be. And so if I change this to say black, everything will turn black, right? Except anything we have specifically painted a different color. So let's come on outside and we'll take a look using, say, this part of the base where it's kind of semi-finished, and we'll try a couple of these and see how it looks. So here are some options for you guys. I refuse to do purple. I don't like purple. I'm sorry. But let's go ahead and change this. And what I'm willing to do is something like maybe a maroon, like a dark red. Maybe like that. And I don't know the other color for that. I think maybe a very light tan. Like that. Let's see how that looks. So let's go ahead and select it. I think that looks pretty cool. I could live with that. I think that looks perfectly reasonable, and I'm okay with that as a possibility. Second option would be to go more in the bluish, like not purple, but more maybe in like a dark blue, like kind of like a navy, say like that. And I think this would look good with like a lighter grayish. So that's another option. So that shows you what that would look like. Alright, so we have the sort of maroon red and we have the kind of navy blue. And then let's see, I could see doing maybe a greenish color. So now hopefully it'll save these. Back when they first put the color out, the color didn't save across logins, so when you came back in, everything was reset to the original colors. And what I had to do was actually make a spreadsheet with the HSV values, or whatever it is, like when you go in here, these values, which is the hue, saturation, and whatever. And I had to keep resetting them, which was really annoying. But I don't think you have to do that anymore. So here's our third option. And I'm just doing a bunch of this so you guys can see what it'll look like. Alright, so here are your options, guys. The dark blue, the dark red, or the green. I think I like this dark red the best. But I'm willing to do any of those as the default base color. You can, by the way, also color your machines, right? And your storage containers, and even your conveyor belts can be colored. So now one of the things I probably will do is actually color individual rooms on the inside of the base with the color of what's being manufactured. So the wire over in the distance, that'll probably stay orange. The crystal, that'll maybe be pink. The metal stuff will be gray. And so maybe the iron will be light gray, the steel will be dark gray on the inside. But the outside and the sky bridges are all going to be colored a single consistent color. And you guys are going to help me choose that. I'm not doing purple. I hate purple. Sorry, guys. But I'm willing to do blue or red or green. So leave your comments below and we will adjust the base color accordingly. And to remember where this goes, I'm going to put this color gun and all the paint over by the hub. So, leave your comments. Again, this is what it looks like from the inside. Let's take a look from the inside just so you guys can see. I think this looks fine. I think this looks really cool. Now, one of the issues we may have with these dark colors is that when, like at night, when it gets dark in here, it's going to be really dark. So let's actually try a light option in case people like that better. Let me come over here and we'll do it with this section. So one more option. I'll give you a light option. And let's do that here. And let's do, say, like a sky blue, maybe? Might be cool. With a kind of a darker blue border. Let's go ahead and do that. And we'll select that color. Yeah, see, that looks too white to me in the sun. So I think we have to make this darker. Maybe like that. Yeah, that looks a little better. See, notice it does change it on whatever you've already colored. Still looks a little oversaturated in the bright sun. I think I could live with that too. Alright, so those are your 4 options. Light blue, dark blue. Maroon red, dark green. And I'll show you what the light blue looks like on the inside, and then you guys can leave comments. And we'll do majority rules, whichever one. I think on the inside, the light blue probably looks the best. I think on the outside, the red looks the best. And no, there's no way for me to color the sides of the walls 2 different colors. So, I think all of those look pretty cool, and I'm happy with any of those. So, let me know what you want to do, and we will go from there. Until next time, I am Scarberlock, and this is Satisfactory Early Access Update 3.